This is Carl Townsend, and it's Communications 542, informational speech. Throughout the biblical history, there's been three prophecies about the lineage of Christ. The first one started with the Adamic covenant and the proclamation that the descendants of Adam would crush the heel of Satan. The next time that I almost forgot the word, generational, nerves are getting that part of it. I'll be all right. Adam, the second time that he would come from the line of Abraham. The latest, he would continue the kingdom of David forever. Tonight, for our purposes, we're only going to handle the New Testament section of it because of our time constraints. If everyone will turn to the first chapter of Matthew, chapter 1, verse 16. And while you're doing that, I'll tell you something about Matthew. It was first written around the year 37 AD. It was from the disciple Matthew. He was first named Levi, and he became a tax collector. That's how he wound up being a Roman citizen. So he earned the name of Matthew. Content-wise, most of Matthew is written to the Jews so that he can prove the messianic intent of Christ. Looking at the 16th verse of Matthew 1, we run into the part of the verse, Joseph, the son of, or the husband of Mary, and Mary was the mother of Jesus, who is called the Messiah. In some of your NIVs, it's going to be called Messiah. In some of your King James versions, it's going to be called Christ. One is the Hebrew name, Messiah, and the other is the Greek name, Christ. But depending on which version you have, they both mean the same, the anointed one. What I want you to try and look at is in the King James Version, the word begot, and in the NIV, the father of. Both are coming from the Greek word, because this is the New Testament, geneo, which means to beget or engender. What we're looking at in Matthew is the dynasty portion of the genealogy of Christ, and it started with Abraham at the very top, right there. And he gave birth to, or he didn't give birth, sorry about that. He begot Ishmael and Isaac. Ishmael wound up having 12 tribes, which wound up becoming the major Arab nations today. Along with Isaac, who had Esau and Jacob. Jacob begat 12 sons and other daughters, of course, but 12 sons were from the 4 wives that he had. Whenever we come down to one of them, Judah is where the kingship line was supposed to be crowned later on. Looking at Matthew's gospel, we have this line here of genealogy from Abraham down to David. Now, if it was a king's genealogy, it ran from the source of the kingship down. If it was a father's genealogy, just normal folk in the Jewish tradition, it would run from the son backwards. Okay, so in Matthew, it's a dynasty genealogy because it's running forwards. Right here we have Solomon. whose mother had been the wife of Uriah's wife. Okay? Then it continues on down to Jacob, the father of Joseph, which was the husband of Mary. And Mary was the mother of Jesus, who is called the Messiah. So this is a kingly dynastic genealogy in Matthew. Turning over to the book of Luke, chapter 3, we run into a second genealogy. And at first, when I first saw this second genealogy and then bounced it off the one in Matthew, I expected it to be the same, and it definitely is not. Okay? Luke's genealogy runs from Adam. If you look at the very last guy, he's Adam. So I wrote it backwards and put Abraham at the top, just so I could shorten the presentation. Oops. Sorry about that. Anyway, we have Abraham down to David, just like before. But the son of David changes on this genealogy to Nathan. Here we don't have Joseph's lineage, even though Joseph was put at the very first of it as the supposed father of Jesus. What we have is Heli, which was the actual father of Mary. So this is Mary's genealogy. Both Mary and Joseph came from the line of David. So even though Joseph was his stepfather, he still was from the line of David on his mother's side as well. So either way, he was from the line of David, which really just, I always wondered how they worked that since he was a stepfather. So it was very fun for me to find that fact out. Here's the big picture. This is Abraham at the top, right up here. There's Judah. The red one is David. This is Nathan's line, all the way back around to Jesus. Here's David again, Solomon, and his line around to Jesus. Both of them lead up to the same person. Hallelujah. Then we got all that out of the way. So, in summary, Matthew was written to the Jews around 37 AD. Luke was written to a Roman named Theophilus, somewhere between 58 AD and 63. The writer of Matthew was a disciple whose first Hebrew name was Levi. He became a tax collector and became one of the disciples of Jesus. Luke was a writer. He was a physician, so his analytical abilities are portrayed in his gospel, and he presented just the facts, so to speak. But he's looking at it through Roman eyes, so to speak, trying to make his audience in Rome understand what's going on with this Jesus gospel. The dynastic genealogy written from source to person of interest, David to Joseph, and this one is written as a legalistic genealogy in Luke, from the person of interest back to Adam. So that's what I have presented today, and we thank you all for your attendance. I hope you learned something. Thank you.
It does.